What's going on, everybody? Here we are back for another day, another dollar, day 11 of the cut, season 1 of the cut, day 11, and we're going to hit arms. So hit shoulders yesterday, back with arms today, legs tomorrow. We're on the mend from a bit of a hiatus due to illness, but it is time to get the gears going again, full speed, and turn it up. So today we're hitting arms. Gonna go in there, hit biceps first, then move on to triceps. Should be, relatively quick lift. I wanna say probably hour 15. Hit them both as hard as we possibly can and then get out of there. And tonight I'm actually going to the sauna gym. I'm going to hit the lift there and then subsequently sauna. So we'll get the trifecta in. I did an hour and 15 minutes of cardio earlier today at the park, walked around the track a little bit, walked, through the park. It's a pretty nice park, Memorial Park here in Houston. Like I said, the weather has been fantastic. About 70 degrees, walking around with a t-shirt on. The leaves are orange, a nice color, some red in there as well. And everything's looking up. We're going on the right trajectory. The illness is subsiding. We are working our way out of it. There's still some lingering effects, but we aren't going to let that hinder anything that we're about to do tonight, because you know how it goes once we step into the facility. It's time to turn it up. It's time to turn it on. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So arms. Okay, for a tall individual, sometimes it's difficult to fill out your arms. You always feel like you're a little bit lanky. Maybe your midsection, your hips, it's all a little bit bigger than your arms because your arms are so long. Your body's proportions are a little bit different. When you're a little shorter and your arms are shorter, your legs are shorter, they bulge out just a little bit more. It can be just based on the proportion of how one looks, it's a little bit easier to get those muscles to pop. All that's to say is, when you are a little bit taller, a little bit lankier like myself, being 6'3", it's important to hit those muscles with ferocity. Just like we hit every other muscle, but just like how I'm giving a special awareness to the way I train legs, I need to do the same thing for the arms. So we're gonna go in there, we're gonna hit the arms heavy, we're gonna hit the arms with contractions, we're going to stretch the muscle, make sure there's a lot of tension, and go in there and give it our all for the arms so we can fill them out. So that's the plan. I'm excited. We'll hit the sauna after and we'll keep rolling. So feeling good. New Yay snippet came out, was fire. It's only like 13 seconds, but anything Kanye West, I'm all about. You know that about me. So if you can't tell by my wall decor. So anyways, enough of that. It's time to go in the gym. It's time to lock in and go as hard as humanly possible until we then hit the sauna, relax a little bit, and go to sleep. Eat our bison. I got bison today, not venison. And the difference there is the venison is leaner than the bison. The bison's still lean, the venison is leaner. And I have 4 ounces less because the venison comes in 14-ounce packs. I cooked 2 of them for the day. The bison comes in 16-ounce packs or pound packs, and I cooked 2 of them. So there's 4 more total ounces in the bison, and there's more fat. So the way I like to do it is you only eat the bison once every 5 days, the other 4 days venison, when I'm on a cut especially, to keep the fat minimized. But either way, the carbs are low, the fat is low, and everything is whole, healthy, balanced foods, along with the vegetables, along with the fruit, along with the protein powder, along with milk, along with coffee. And they all come together to really form a balanced diet that will allow me to keep my muscle in size while trimming all the fat away. And it doesn't have to be as complicated as you think it is. I know when you first start out thinking about diet, you want to get it real specific and you want to have this different meal here, here, here. It's not as complicated as you think it has to be. It's actually can be very simple, and then all that's going to come down to is adherence. So the simpler it is, the easier it is to adhere to it. That's another important thing. And another important thing is if you implement certain rules and then just track what you're eating, you can eat different foods. But you have to be diligent. And if you don't want to be diligent, you're busy, it's smart to keep things simple and consistent. That way you don't have to think a lot about it. It doesn't take up a lot of your processing power as far as your brain goes. So that's a little tip there, but we'll get deeper into that as we go along in this cut. Like I said, day 11, and training always comes first. Always in your life, put your training first. Everything else will come with it. I promise you that. And that's it for now. We'll see you in the gym. Okay, we're here. We got 75 for the warm-up, 115 for the working sets for easy bar curls. Get us into it. Let's go right away. There we go. Let's get into it. All right, here we go. Set number 1, heavier weight. Got the clips on. And we're going to roll right into it. Get these arms good and pumped. Let's go. Woo. All right, that's one. Heavy. Here we go. Number 2. Let's lock in. Let's get it. All right. 2 more. Here we go. Number 3. Let's go. Hey. All right, 1 more. All right, here we go. 4th set here. Arms are starting to feel it. Let's keep it going. Here we go. Hey. All right, scoops are next. All right, so we got the biceps started nice and heavy. I'm going to go a little lighter, but a different kind of movement. Going into scoops. Just going to lean over, really focus on the contraction, and continue pumping up the biceps. So here we go. Okay, that's enough of those. Next, we're going to go to dumbbell alternate. Let's run that up. Okay, now we're on to dumbbell alternate curls. And the best thing about this biceps workout is kind of stay in the same place. As you can see, the camera hasn't moved much. We can all kind of do it in this one area. It's much more efficient. But anyways, alternate dumbbell curls, and I think I'm going to get 4 sets of 12, but as always, 1 set at a time. Let's get it going. All right, biceps feeling good, fatigue, pumped. So one more exercise. Okay, so we got a good sweat going. Biceps are feeling nice and pumped. We're gonna hit one more exercise for the brachialis. Reverse grip, curls, going to 80, so up a little bit in weight. And goal is 4 sets of 12, and then on to triceps. So let's go. Oh, ah, ah, ah. Oh, ah, ah, ah. Shit. All right, biceps done. Let's do a little try. Okay, so as we talked about before, because I did the biceps first, won't take as long to get a tricep pump. But regardless, what I'm going to do here, skull crushers, got 135 on the bar, and 4 sets of 12, and we'll see what we need after that. Might not be much more. So let's get it. Good one. We'll do it at least one more. Girls get 4 here, and then maybe do a couple others. We'll see. All right, first set, difficult but good. So we're gonna keep running this up. Keep it moving. Here we go. Here we go, it's 2. All right, go first 2. Run it up. Tricep, baby. Number 3, let's get it. Here we go. That's 3. One more. All right, here we go. Number 4, last one here. And then we'll probably do 2 more exercises. Don't know if we'll do all 4 sets for each of the last 2, but triceps are feeling it. This one really gets me going as far as tricep goes. Really gets the pump going. Fires me up. It's heavy, grows. Great tricep growth exercises. Heavy skull crushers. As heavy as you can do for 12 reps. Next time, do more. That's the secret. So, here we go. Number 4. Here we go, next one. All right, so good there. Let me touch you up just a little bit. We're gonna do 1, maybe 2 sets here. Single arm overhead, going out 40. But really what we wanna focus on here is the stretch on the long head behind the head. So let's get it rolling. All right, let's hit that one more time. Even though I'm almost gassed. And then we'll do some cable press downs. That'll be it. All right, like I said, one more here. And then cable push downs, probably a couple there. Only too much. We're pumped. Whole arm's pumped. So let's quit talking. Let's do it. Here we go. Ah, 10. Oh, yep. Whew. Whew. Yeah, feeling good. All right. Last exercise. Let's do it. Okay, here we are. Last exercise. Cable push downs.
fan favorite. We're going to hit 2 sets of these, and that'll be it because my triceps are feeling it. So here's the first one. One less than the whole stack. We're almost there. So here we go. All right, that's one. All right, here we go. We're at the last set of the evening. And I'm going to go ahead and do the whole stack. And then I'm going to add in a drop set at the end and burn it out. So let's roll. Eight. All right. Here we go, 12. Eight. All right, there we go. Arm day, bow.
And we're back. Tremendous arm day. Nice and pumped. Big, full arms. We got the job taken care of. Fatigued, especially still coming over this illness. There's a little bit of that still in the air, but we're coming through the other side, and on that other side is a bigger, better version of myself. So we got in there, we got the job done, and you know, honestly, I feel like my triceps are a little bit easier to hit than the biceps, and I think I might be biased towards that. One, because I used to be like really into benching, so I was really into working my triceps, so my biceps had always been lagging behind my triceps. But also, you know, usually I hit my triceps second, so I'm thinking maybe I'll start hitting my triceps first. That way I can get more blood to the biceps, get a pump a little bit easier. But then, you know, it's harder to get the same amount of volume if you do it that way. So it's all about weighing the pros and cons, finding a good balance for yourself. You know, you can't be too stringent. You got to be willing to adjust. You got to be willing to flow with what your feedback tells you, so what your body tells you. When you train a certain way, do it for a while, see what it says, and then adjust accordingly. And that's what's going to make you good or not as good. So what's going to make you great other than average? You know, you go in the gym, you see so many people that don't change much, you know, week after week, month after month, year after year. They kind of just look the same. And the reason for that is there's two main reasons, two major components to that. First of which is consistency. They're not consistent in their diet or their training. You have to have both. You have to be consistent in both areas in order to advance. The second of which is they aren't fluid enough in their training, and the fact that if something's not working, they won't try anything new. Or their diet, you know, for that. Or their diet. Could be their diet too. So either one of those, you want to avoid those pitfalls. The first of which, of course, you always got to be consistent. Whether that's, you know, you could even just be going to the gym 3 days a week and getting your diet just dialed in. The more you dial in your diet, the less you have to train. The more you dial in your training, the less you have to diet. But, you know, the perfect situation is having a symbiosis of both. Perfect diet and perfect training. Then you will advance light speed. You will be in a Star Wars time warp in which you are just flying through the gains and looking amazing week after week, month after month. But let's say you don't have a lot of time. Let's say you're busy. Let's say you like to go out on the weekends. You have to dial in one ultra, and then the other one can be made up for a little bit. But, if they both fall below the 50% dialed in, think about your fitness self, your fitness journey as can be 0 to 100. So 100, both your diet and your training are absolutely dialed in. 0, you're eating like a pig every night and you don't get off the couch, you just watch movies all day. 50% of that, or 50 points, can be added by your diet. 50 points can be added by your training. And, of course, you got sleep in there as well. Just for the sake of this, 50 diet, we'll throw it in there. 40 diet, 40 training, 10 recovery. Now, let's say your training's all the way at a 40, your diet is at a 20, and your sleep is at a 3. So your training's maxed out, your diet's about half as good as it could be, and your sleep isn't good at all. That is a 63. You're still getting better. As long as you're above that 50% baseline, that 50% is you staying the same or not making any improvements or adjustments. It's you being that guy in the gym that always looks the same. That's 50. Guy that gets fatter, you're getting depressed, you're sad, you don't go to the gym and you eat like shit, that's lower than 50. You could even go anything lower than 50, you're regressing. 0, you're regressing as fast as possible. But if you have everything dialed in, you could be 100, right? And not hardly anybody is at 100. So the goal is to get as close to 100 as possible, while always remaining above 50. No matter what, you want to be above 50. And this is on the macro scale. So this is week to week and month to month. Day to day is going to make up whether you're hitting that 40% for your training or you're hitting that 40% for your diet. But you can really start to track this kind of thing on the scale of week to week and month to month. But if you keep that idea in your head, am I staying above 50? Then you can start to say, hey, I'm progressing, or hey, I'm regressing, I need to lock something in. So I think that's important to think about, especially because a lot of people do go to the gym, they do diets, and they feel like they're not getting the results they want. They don't particularly feel like sticking it out because the results aren't happening fast enough. I know that's pretty common, especially with diets. And somebody that's never dieted before, you feel like 2 weeks is a long time to go without eating any of your favorite meals and you don't see any results from it. That's a blow to the conscience, blow to the ego, right? But you have to trust, you have to remember all the people you saw on Instagram that have been able to make transformations, all the people you've seen on, anybody that you know or are aware of that has done a transformation in which they were fat and then they were skinny and fit, did it because they stuck it out, they were consistent, and they were always, throughout the period of them losing weight, above that 50% marker. And you could say, I'm just genetically unhealthy, or I'm just genetically overweight, it's not going to work for me. But think about the fat people that get skinny or get fit. When they were fat, they were probably saying the same thing. I'm genetically fat. Yeah, because they were fat. So they put the work in, they put their nose to the grindstone, they trusted the plan and the process, they remembered the people that they've seen do it before, and then they were able to do it themselves. And I promise you guys, anybody can do it. You watch my channel and you've seen me go, I didn't really show you, I showed you a before and after picture, but I didn't show you the process of me going from, feeling like I was fat, not a lot of muscle and fat, to very lean, to now regaining the fat with a ton of muscle on top of it. And then you're going to see me get lean again. And that's all to say that it is possible. Anybody can do it. I promise you, you have to stick to the plan and be consistent, and you too can do it. Anybody can do it. And I think one thing that we run into, especially me, nowadays it's a little bit different because you see so much of this stuff on social media. But when I was a kid, we didn't have social media, and I grew up in a small town. There's only 6,000 people. So the like overwhelming thought was, you are who you are. Your genetics make up who you are. And if you aren't ripped and you don't look crazy, it's because you don't have good genetics. And while genetics play 50% of the equation, especially of what you can look like, anybody can get lean. That is for sure. And anybody can get healthy. And I know that from firsthand experience. And back then you just didn't know. You didn't know that, I guess you could have found out, but the problem was you live in a town of 6,000 people and you don't see anybody else that was fat and now they're skinny. Everybody's just kind of fat. Or everybody that's skinny's just always been skinny. No one was changing. There was no changes. But now you have a way larger sample size. The sample size now is 330 million people. And you can see a lot of people are making a lot of good changes to their body. So that's all to say, you can do it. Stay consistent and keep going day after day, week after week. There's going to be times where you don't feel like training. Well, you better dial in that diet. You better not cheat on your diet if you're not training that day. And there's nuance to it. That's why it's important to get a coach and get someone that can think through these things fully. Because let's say you trained 5 days in a row and now you have a 6th day that's a rest day. You might want to up your calories a little bit to replenish the energy expenditure from the last 5 days. So there's nuance to it. Don't get me wrong. But at its base, and I was touching on this in the preamble, it's not as complicated as you think. I promise you. You got to get the simple stuff done. This is everything in life, guys. Get the simple stuff down and then expand and then expand and then expand. Take the first step and then expand. Because what happens is your mind gets to a place where it wants more. You get that dopamine rush of finding out a little bit more information about fitness, finding out a little bit more information about diet, a little bit more information about what split you should be doing, how much protein you should be taking in, from what sources. Your mind just starts to do the momentum thing, and then you become a fitness fanatic. And you're one of the people that people are like, wow, I wish I had that body. He looks so good, or she looks so good. And I just never will be able to get that because she or he is just so genetically gifted. So if you want to become that person, you gotta commit to the cause. You gotta commit, and you gotta be consistent. You gotta stay above that. As long as you stay above that 50%, even if you're at 51%, if you're at 51 points on the 100-point scale, it might take 10 years, but in 10 years, you'll look how you want to be. So I think that's the take-home message. Always, on the macro scale, stay above that 50% or that 50-point margin. And the way you do that is to dial in your training, dial in your diet, and do so in a way that's symbiotic. So that's the story. I'm in the parking garage. Another banger of an episode. Great arm day. And we'll see you next time for legs. Let's go.